here today with Michael, and we're going to talk about the perfect audition book. And Michael has been an exemplary student of, just really making sure that everything is right about his book. So I just want to talk about it. I want you to see his book. I'm going to turn it around this way. And just show us your book, Michael. Talk about it.
I can show you. So I went on a bunch of online forums because a lot of college kids are like, "Why do you make a book?" I was kind of reading what other teachers had to say, and then also reading Excavating the Song, and looking at all that information and kind of compiling all of my best ideas.
Great. So what have you done? Tell me, what's in your book?
Well, to start, a lot of people have headshots and resumes in the front of their book.
Yeah.
I think it's a better idea just to have a single headshot that you've taped in, so
Super.
that it never falls out.
Great.
And then for the start of the book, I have plastic sleeves.
Okay.
One which has your table of contents on it, and one which you can put resumes in.
Oh, super.
So what I did is I went to Office Depot, and they have these lovely tabs which you can print out words on.
Okay, let me zoom in. So your categories are...
And so I have standard ballad, standard uptempo, golden age ballad, golden age uptempo, comedy, 1950s, 60s pop rock, 1970s, 80s pop rock, and modern pop rock. And then behind that, I have a contemporary period musical, contemporary ballad, contemporary uptempo, post-millennium, Sondheim, TUIA/Disney, specialty numbers, and cabaret-style full songs.
Okay, good.
Now, I would encourage people to be creative in deciding...
Can we look at your table of contents before we go further?
Yeah.
So this is the table of contents. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. Just all the songs in order, by category. And so finding the song that you want is very simple.
Yep. And I also have essence words at the bottom, which
Good.
was helpful in making sure that I'm choosing the right songs, because then when I bring a new song in, I can kind of run it by these words and make sure that they're all represented.
Super. Talk about essence. What is an essence word? Essence. Word?
Just words that kind of describe the general being of you, and so but that's also positive and marketable.
Yeah.
So stubborn, sensitive, vivacious, commanding, and quirky are some words that I got when I asked my friends, and I really liked those words.
Yeah, good.
And all of them are represented in my book.
So
Then flipping over to get a good example of a category. What I have done is for every song there is a 16-bar cut, which I've labeled in green, which when you open, it's all together with the correct cuts. At the top, we have the name of the show, who wrote it, the time signature, and then you can. And then what I like to do is, I don't have it on this one, but right next to where you say start, write the style of the show.
Yeah,
because the accompanist is more likely to read that down here than up here, and you can pay more attention to it.
Absolutely.
Then just follow it all the way over.
Notice that there's no page turn in this cut. That's wonderful.
Let me find one with a... Just a second. I'm going to find one with a page turn. No, I know there's one over here. So if there is a 16-bar cut that has page turn, what you do is you tape the two pages together on the side of the book that's longer, because this part folds out. You tape them together, and you hole punch both sides, and then you cut little triangles in this one, and it just folds over.
Triangles are to help the page turn.
Yes, and then it makes it fit right over the...
Awesome.
Yes, and then for 32-bar cuts, I've labeled them in blue so that they're easy to find, so I have to read what's happening. And then for a song that has, for example, if you have like 4 pages, what you do is you tape 2 pages together. And I find that this is really helpful because a lot of people complain with accompaniments that like a single page is too flimsy.
Yeah.
And so when you tape 2 pages together, you have this nice taped edge.
It's nice and thick.
And so what I do is I take 2 pages, put a piece of tape in between them, lay them together, and then tape along this edge and a little bit here and a little bit here.
That's exactly
And then I always draw arrows so that the accompanist knows where to go. For the page turn.
Good.
And then following all of these, of course.
Notice how the things are really clear about what I'm to play and what I'm not to play. It's just, there's no doubt.
And whenever you're writing start or end, I chose pink because I liked the way that it looked on that page. but either pink or red, I would say, because that catches the eye the most. And then following at the categories that I have, like the cabaret full song, are songs which I wouldn't necessarily use for an audition per se, but that work if I'm like, oh, there's a open call, like singing night.
Open mic or something,
yes. And then at the very back, I have copies of monologues that I use.
Awesome.
And I've labeled them by what they are and just so that I always have them with me. And then in the very back, just to make sure all your pages are protected, I took some file folders and taped them together and laid them down, so that way no pages are ruined in the back of the book by getting stuck.
I want to close this by asking how your give me a story about how your preparation has paid off in an audition.
It's been great because even though it takes a lot of time and a lot of work to make this happen, like lots of hours, but it's so great because it's mindless now. If someone says, do you have this song? And I say yes, and they say, what's your cut? And I just flip it open and I know exactly what the cut is. And even when I was in New York and with some callbacks for some big shows, people would ask for songs and I would have them and the right cuts, and it was, I've gotten lots of compliments about it.
Oh, good. Awesome. Anything else you want to add before we close?
A lot of people don't work this hard in their book.
Yeah.
But I think that if this is your life and this is what you're going to be representing yourself as in the room, why wouldn't you take the time to make sure that everything is as good as it could be?
Great. I think that's great. All right. Thanks. We're going to say goodbye. Thank you, Michael.
Bye.